fascia, there is potentially here a huge role for it in mental health. However, there's still so much for us to learn about this connective tissue. So see this image, it is literally like we have a spider's web within us, under our skin. We'll go into the science bit in a bit, yeah? But how can we begin to integrate this into our work? Because science has actually neglected fascia for a very long time. It's been thought of as inert and lifeless. But as the science is now showing, and the curiosity, and as physiotherapy people and mental health people and yoga people like we're doing today all coming together, there's a real area there where we need some research. However, like I say, science has neglected it. And I put a picture in here of, can you see this image of this lady in the corner? She's called Ida Rolf. Has anyone heard of rolfing? I think somebody mentioned that had fascia release. So I'm just, again, I'm just going to bring forward here that there's a gentleman called William Reich, who is known as the father of body psychotherapy. Ida was one of his students. Her work, yes, it's been taken up within physiotherapy, but she was working in mental health. She's a therapist that brought this in. So as she was female, her work, her papers weren't published. She's not as famous as the men, because there's a timeline there when we're looking at the 40s and 50s and 60s. So I'm just bringing that in, that actually science has neglected fascia and the work of women and people of colour. But I'm bringing this lady in particular, and we'll pick up on her in a bit. So fascia, right, for me, it is the bridge that I've been looking for a long, long time, because this web, so if you have it, we're going to go into the body a bit more. I just don't want to scare you by showing dissected body parts so early on a Saturday morning. But the fascia, have a look at that image there. It's interconnecting, right? And it's given us something physical to put our finger on. And actually, in the history of body psychotherapy, it's missing. And then I've just mentioned that Ida she's seen as the mother of fascia, yet her work doesn't really feature unless you really research it. And I've had to really, really look and connect. It's not really there in body psychotherapy. So there's something physical that we can put our finger on, something more intelligent and interconnected than muscle memory. Yeah. So as therapists and people working with clients, noticing in our own bodies, we've known that there's something missing. And this is why fascia has tremendous implications for mental health, because actually the connecting nature of fascia has meant in the past that it's actually crossed several scientific models and disciplines. And most of the research is actually not from mind, body, or on the therapeutic side. There's very little there until recently, but it's coming from the mechanical body therapies. So fascia, it's known as the organ of form. Form, as in, when you think of dancers and having a form, or is that what weightlifters do as well? You'll have to help me. Do they have the right form? Please pop that in the chat if you know about that. I'm sure they say about form. Okay, so it's from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, right? So top of your head, right? And then I want you to wiggle your toes. Look at your toes, pull your toes back. Feel that stiffness in your toes. Squeeze it down. So all the way. It's a continuous silver white bodysuit that surrounds, separates, interpenetrates, and envelopes all of your organs: brain, muscle, bone, blood vessels, nerves. So I'm going to shout out vagus nerve here. All of your body. And it's made from collagen. It's connective tissue, which is an abundant protein in the body. It is slick and slippery, like fluid, right? It's a fluid body. So think about Spider-Man's suit. I put an image there, and I tried to find a female one. So where it is, and it keeps us all together. Happy, healthy fascia will slide and glide gracefully, unrestricted. It is intelligent. The fluid, again, this is why fascia loves fluid. The fluid conducts information around the body. It's like having the best Wi-Fi signal in the world that's going from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Okay, so it loves to be warm and it loves to be the fascia is affected by emotional stress and trauma. That slick and slippery material that's happy turns into glue, right? Forming tree trunks of restriction. Tree trunks of restriction. It's clamping down on our organs, muscles, and nerves. And this is what I see in my clients' bodies. Stiffness. Think about what you see. Pop it in the chat. Spinal posture, their pace, advanced aging, physical pain, their gait, inflammation. So William Reich, who I mentioned earlier, would call this character armor. So this is how the unconscious manifests into real time right now. What's going on in my shoulder? What's going on in my hip? The character armor, this physical manifestation. So this is where fascia houses trauma in the body. I'm just going to show you this little video so you can see it moving. So, and when you start to describe this to the client, let the client talk about it. They know what it is. Even when I'm teaching the yoga, I bring the fascia in and notice that stiffness. Okay. So a client of mine described her fascia as being made of glass. And really, and that fits within her narrative, her story. But for me, this reminds me of Merleau-Ponty's words. So this is, Merleau-Ponty was a French phenomenologist, and I love this quote: "Things are encrusted into the flesh of the body, just as the body is part of the fabric of the world." Let me say that again. You might need to work that out yourself. Things are things. There it is, things. What are things? Things are encrusted in the flesh, just as the body is part of the fabric of the world. Everything is connected. All cells are in contact with each other through this body-wide network. Body-wide network. So flesh, and I put a picture here of Lady Gaga. So really what we're taking it from the unconscious, something, the trauma, the emotional stress, what is going on, manifesting in the body. Yeah. And we need to bring it into the flesh now, real time, what's going on. So flesh indicates a certain experience of a surface. Flesh, it's a surface, but it's got an inside. And it's that point where the inside and the outside meet. Merleau-Ponty referred to it as that matter is pregnant. As in, when we can begin to bring that into awareness in sessions. A lot of this is all non-verbal as well, so that you may have be working with clay. I'm glad we've got art therapists here. I'd love to hear when we talk a bit later, maybe put something in the chat. This is what you're working with, right? So please share some of your wisdom here. That matter is pregnant. So we're bringing it to the here and now. The body's in the room. What's going on? So more this lovely quote: the flesh is at the heart of the world. The flesh is at the heart of the world, from Merleau-Ponty.